term diplomat. Okay, what comes to your mind? You say diplomat, I don't know, Kissinger, Metternich.
Even Krishna.
I would say Hanumanji. Hanumanji, just look at it. He is being sent by Prabhu Sri Ram to a hostile territory. Say, go there, kind of figure out the lay of the land. We don't know anything about this place. We have no idea where Masita is. So, it's a kind of an intelligence, understanding, recce, mission, very open-ended. And what does he do? He goes there. He actually is successful in the most difficult part of it, is actually to go and meet her and to keep up her morale. But he is able to actually get into Ravan's court by surrendering himself. He is able to understand the dynamics of the court. He actually is the only person who gets an understanding of Vibhishan, so that when Vibhishan finally defects and they're not sure is he a real defector or not, he's able to say, no, he's a good guy, he's on our side, we can use him. And then he's actually able to set the place on fire. Think of it, a diplomat going to a place and setting the place, not metaphorically, but literally on fire. Now,
have you ever attempted to do that?
Don't tempt me. So the point is, look, that's a great example of a diplomat. Now, I'll give you a very different example. Prabhu Sri Ram himself. What do you need when you say foreign policy diplomacy? What is it about? It's a common sense thing in a way. How do you maximize your friends? How do you purpose them for a job, a task at hand? How do you manage, because sometimes you have a large group of people, how do you manage all of them, create a coalition? Now, what are we trying to do today as Bharat? We are trying to increase our number of friends. We are trying to get different countries, all of whom may be a little bit, they may not all be on the same page, but we are trying to get them all together and work towards an end. Now, this kind of coalition building is very important. Now, look at, in his case, that the coalition that he assembles to actually go to Lanka. And sometimes, coalition building can be very difficult. He has, to give you one example, he has Angad in his coalition. He's actually killed his father, Wali. And yet he is able to motivate and persuade Angad to be loyal to him, to do his work, to represent him. In fact, Angad also goes as a diplomat to parley with Ravana. So, coalition building, Prabhu Sri Ram's sort of skills, you can see. Or, in a way, I would say Ravana himself. Today when we look at the world and we assess other countries, Ravana is an example of what I would say strategic complacency. That Brahma has given him a wish and he invokes that he cannot be killed by anybody, but is arrogant enough to think that human beings don't matter at all. So he has brought his insurance against every other kind of creature.
Nuclear deterrent.
But with a strategic complacency chink in the armor. And then in a way his quest, the lack of restraint, the fact he antagonized, he's not able, he's carried away, the hubris. So I think each of these characters, when you apply them to the real world, you can see something familiar out there. The Prime Minister was, as all of you know, in the US in Washington on the 12th and 13th of this year. And he was among the earliest world leaders to be invited by President Trump in his second term to meet with him. I've been doing this all my life, so I have some reference points and some experiences as a comparative assessment. And I would say with all objectivity, I thought it went very well, and for a variety of reasons. One, all of us know that, Narendra Modi is a very strong nationalist, and he he sort of radiates that. Yeah. Now, Trump is an American nationalist, and I think in many ways nationalists kind of respect each other. I mean, each one, I mean, they're very clear-eyed. I mean, they are in it for their country. I mean, Trump accepts that Modi is in it for India. Modi accepts that Trump is in it for America. But the task, the purpose of the meeting is to say, okay, how do we find something which works? What is the common ground? What is it we can do together which makes both of us stronger? The second I felt was the chemistry was good. Because again, Trump being somewhat unusual, there are a lot of other leaders in the world who, with whom he has not necessarily a positive history. So coming back to your question, look, I think some information has been put out there by the Trump administration people, and obviously that is concerning. It would suggest that there are activities whose which has a certain objective out here to push a narrative or a viewpoint. I think as a government we are looking into it because such organizations have an obligation to report. And my sense is the facts will come out. Now I read saying so and so dealt with USAID or so and so. Look, it's not a question of did you deal with USAID or not. USAID was allowed, has been here historically. But USAID was allowed here in good faith, to do good faith activities. Now suggestions are being made out of America that there are activities which are in bad faith. So it surely warrants a look. And if there is something to it, I think the country should know who are the people involved in the bad faith activities.
I have made the decision of a military operation.
Putin's aggression against Ukraine will end up costing Russia dearly.
Zelensky better move fast or he's not going to have a country left.